After digestion and absorption are completed in the small intestine, the food is passed into the large intestine, named after its large diameter. On its way, it passes a vestigial trait, the appendix, which no longer serves a digestive function for us and often becomes infected by packets of bacteria that end up inside it. A disease known as appendicitis that often causes people to have their appendix removed surgically. But the appendix is testament to the function of this last leg of the digestive tract. Bacteria are meant to be here, and all along the length of our large intestine are colonies upon colonies of bacteria. Most of these bacteria are very good for us because they break down some of the carbohydrates and other molecules that we do not have enzymes to break. Meanwhile, our intestines provide a safe environment for these bacteria to live, so this is a mutualism. We notice how important these bacteria are when we go on antibiotics or otherwise get sick in a way that kills our internal bacteria and causes us to have a lot of diarrhea. This reveals the other major function of our large intestine. It is a fine-tuner of absorption. While most parts of the food were absorbed back in the small intestine, the large intestine makes sure that just the right amount of water has been taken out of the food, just the right amount of calcium and salts have been taken out of the food, and so on. It does this in many ways. For example, by lining its walls with more protein channels and allowing the remaining molecules that are inside the food to diffuse down their concentration gradient from high concentration in the intestine to a lower concentration outside, where they can enter the bloodstream and get carried to the rest of the body. This way, by the time the food gets to the end of the large intestine and passes into the rectum for storage, it is already feces. That is, only the stuff that the body does not need that's just collecting and getting ready to be eliminated. So the feces collect in the rectum after they have been pushed through all of this maze with mutualistic bacteria breaking it down and with the large intestine extracting the last few nutrients and water from those feces. Every so often, your large intestine will have an extra large, smooth muscle contraction by peristalsis and push those feces into your rectum very quickly. When it does that, you get the sensation of, oh, I need to go. And you make your way to a toilet so that you can complete the final step in digestion, which is elimination. Elimination takes place at the very end of the tract with the help of a round group of muscles called the anal sphincter, or anus. Sphincters are round groups of muscles that contract inward to hold things from passing until your digestive system would like them to. And since you would rather not defecate into your pants, it's a very good thing that your anal sphincter will hold tight until you are actually ready to go, in which case you can expel those feces and elimination is complete. Now, you will recall that elimination does not always go so smoothly. Diarrhea, for example, is the cause of hundreds of thousands of deaths per year. Because when the body cannot regulate how much water is taken in from the feces, it is easy to become dehydrated enough to die. This often happens when individuals are infected with a bacterium called Vibrio cholerae, which causes cholera. Normally, water molecules would osmose from the middle of the intestine, where there are less solutes, to the wall cells of the intestine, where there are many solutes. But when the cholera toxin is released by this bacterium, it causes channels that hold in the salts to open. This means that the salts start moving out into the middle of the intestine. This makes the concentration of solutes very high, and the concentration of water low. Individual water molecules don't know what the correct direction is to go. They only go from areas where they are more concentrated to where they are less. And because there are a bunch of solutes out here, that makes the water less concentrated in this area. So the water molecules, to balance things out, start osmosing out of the walls of the intestines instead of in, which makes the feces get more and more watery until eventually you have very watery diarrhea and could become so dehydrated that you die. So thank God for the way our large intestine normally works, and let's keep our fingers crossed that it continues to do so.